this meeting's to kind of brief you on some ways that you are receiving exams this semester. Obviously, you've already been, going through some bridges. We're not going to talk about bridges today, but this is just obviously one of the ways that you are receiving, quizzes, assessments. So we're going to talk about Exemplify and ExamSoft, and I'm hoping to kind of give you the details on these two, as the names are kind of close, and I'm hoping that I can make sure you can understand where you'll be coming from on each of these. So Exemplify is our exam software. It's used usually when we're in the building, but this semester there will be some exams that you'll be using it at home. It completely locks down your computer. Like no web access, no desktop. You'll be strictly within the exam software. And some of the exams this semester will have some remote proctoring included with these Exemplify exams, and we'll talk more about that later. And so for those exams with Exemplify, sometimes a webcam and a mic will be needed. But again, we'll talk more about that. ExamSoft is, it uses the website, the ExamSoft website, to retrieve an exam. It's, sorry about that. It's, you kind of just log into this website using your login and password that we will provide to you. And it's usually done with take-home exams. Your computer's not locked down. It's normally open book exams. And there will be no remote proctoring with these exams. You log in, you download the PDF exam once it's open for you, and we provide you an email that gives you all those kind of details. So we'll say, your exam is from this day to this day, and you have this many hours to do that exam. So the professor may give you a 48-hour period to do a 4-hour exam. So you would, once that period of time opens up, you would log into the website, retrieve your exam, do it in a Word document, and then re-upload it back within the time frame. So those are the two kind of different worlds that our exams live in. One is with our software that locks down your computer, and the other is just a take-home, Word document on your own. And we give all those kind of details on how to do those particular exams in separate procedures that I will send to you. Again, all of our exams, you're going to need at various points, a Wi-Fi or even better, a direct connection to your router. Mac or PC, can be used. Some obvious things: power supply, fully charged battery. Just try to make sure that you don't run into any issues during the exam itself. And then obviously another one, virus-free. But we put it in there anyway. And then we talk about the webcam and microphone access. So those will have to, we'll need webcam and microphone access when we have certain proctored exams. Now, it has printer access. It's helpful and needed, and we're working on some alternatives for this, because not everybody, from what I understand, may have printer access. So we say to have access because we allow the exam to be printed beforehand, to help you. A lot of times with fact patterns, our exams are a lot more involved than your normal undergraduate exam. We want you to be able to flip back to the fact pattern if you need to, and so that's why we would allow you to print the exam. I think I saw a question pop up. I'll look at the chat once we go through. You'll definitely have a time to ask any questions. So we want to make sure for the Exemplify software that your device meets minimum system requirements. I mean, that's really most likely your computer is going to be fine. There is some very early Windows operating systems that might have an issue, and I'll share that separately. What Mac system will have an issue. But we want to make sure you download the software and test it out, and then you'll know if you're having any issues. Um, there is a new upgrade for operating system for Mac that's called Big Sur. I know not everybody has access to that right now, but you possibly could have. And as of right now, that is not supported by Exemplify, so you would not be able to be on Big Sur. And you can contact me for further info about that. So if you are on Big Sur for some reason, we'll have to get you rolled back, but we can talk about that. So with the Exemplify software, we provide what's called a mock exam. We give you 5 downloads a semester usually. For obviously the first time, it will kind of help you familiarize yourself with the features of an actual exam, and it'll let you identify if you have any device issues. But it's also a required item to do 2 mock exams for our exam ID software to give a photo to recognize for a future exam if that is indeed you taking the exam. So the mock exam will be used to grab your face photo for future, like I said, future exam IDs. So we talked about it a little bit, how the Exemplify software, it shuts down everything on your computer except the actual exam software. So one of the things that is assumed is that you would need internet access throughout the exam. It's not exactly true. You actually really only need it for upload when you're done with your exam. But at some point you do have to download the exam, but that might have been before exam day. Even if you've downloaded it before, you wouldn't really have to have internet access at that point. But in reality, we want you to have access in the beginning and at the end of the exam. So sometimes students would be concerned that their Wi-Fi is fluctuating throughout the exam, but that would not actually be a problem. That can happen, and you'll be okay. It's reliable. It's a reliable software. ExamSoft's been working on their software for years. When I first started, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, there was some rough semesters with their software. A lot of times, Macs had issues, but that does not happen anymore. We've had I would say 3 to 4 semesters where it was, pretty much flawless technology-wise with the software. And obviously, other law schools use it. The bar exams use it. So this is the website. We're just going to talk about support here. Let me see. I'll take this moment in time to let me take a look at the chat real quick. Okay, so I got a message privately that some people may have not been able to get into this meeting. We'll work that out, Brian, after. I appreciate that. Let me see. I actually did not think that I would have an issue with that. I'm gonna have to deal with that after. I don't think I can actually, even though I am upgraded on my account, I cannot. Does Exemplify force all open programs to close, or does it just ban? It will close all your programs. So it will, whatever is open will have to close. It'll ask you either to close it yourself or give it permission to close the program. So it's one way or another, the programs will be closed. But if you needed tech support when you were downloading the software, this website and the support button will get you to the phone numbers and emails that you need to use. Sean, I'm not sure. Sometimes that is quicker. If you, Blair, if we were on campus, that's a good question. Blair, that's a great question. I think you're saying if you were on campus and taking the exam as if other people were taking it remotely, we would have to make sure that we would get you into a private room where you would be able to I don't know. Either way, we'll have to look at that. It's a great question. I'll have to get back to you on that. Back to Sean. Yeah, I'm not sure about Big Sur. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to have full participation with new operating systems. They have to go through a testing process. So I really can't answer that. It could be any kind of time frame. So we'll get back to I'll get back to you, Blair, on that question and everybody else, because that is a great question. But I'll move on. Let's see. So again, a lot of times we're available for tech support, but if you're on off hours, it's good to contact ExamSoft, and also they might have better information about your particular device, and so they may be better to contact at certain times. But us in Student Finance and Records will be available to kind of deal with the usual kind of tech issues. But again, if you're off hours, it's going to be best to contact ExamSoft directly, and you can do that through this. I'll show it again. This link right here on this website, and this is where you actually download the software as well. And I'll show that to you in the procedure when it's emailed to you. So these slides coming up, there's about 8 to 10 slides coming up. It's really for when we're back in the building full time. Normally our exams are in person. So we don't really have to go over these too much right now. There's a couple slides that I'll kind of stop on, but you can kind of just read these for later. But if you have a midterm that's on campus this semester, you're going to want to take a look at these slides just for some of the kind of rules surrounding that. We're going to kind of go through these, and so always be prepared to write your exam. We will try to assist you with any hardware or software problem, but if for some reason we cannot square it away, you'll have to just be prepared to write your exam. Just always be ready for bringing your student ID number, having your anonymous number, water in a clear container. Let's move on to a few more later on slides here. Obviously, no cell phones or smartwatches, even on remote exams at home. No cell phones or watches. No unauthorized materials, any treatises, anything that's not supposed to be. Whatever the professors tells you to have, it's what you should only have. Again, this is for when you're on campus doing an exam. We will normally give you scrap paper. We'll probably still have scrap paper on the exams sent to you while you're at home or remote. So this will still be in play. So we will have, when we have in-person exams, we will have a proctor. So like I said, there'll be a couple midterms on campus that we will have a proctor in the room. There may be some different rules with the pandemic, but we'll share that to those specific courses that are taking that exam. Again, you can look at this one on your own. Let me go back to the chat here. Back to the chat. You can't see the slides. Is that everybody can't see the slides? It says I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Again, this one you can kind of look at on your own. So uploading your exam. So once you exit your exam, ExamSoft will reconnect to the internet and automatically start uploading your answer file. What could also happen though is that you run up against the exam limit and it automatically starts to upload your exam. So it's either done by yourself or it'll be done by the software at the time limit. Again, familiarizing yourself with the software in terms of in-quiz alarms for you to kind of notify you of time remaining, especially while we're taking exams remote. Caitlin, if you have a Mac, will the Examplify software stop any iMessages or notification from coming in? I know there's a way to temporarily pause them, but I can never find it. And I was just wondering if I need to worry about it. Caitlin, I would assume that it would not allow those messages to come in. I know that obviously, that's a well-known app, obviously on the Mac, but I'm pretty sure it's going to stop and shut that down. So again, in Examplify, you will see this screen if you upload successfully. You may also get put back to the dashboard. Again, we'll show you the dashboard in the procedures, but you'll either see this screen or a progress bar in the dashboard of your exams being uploaded. Another question, Irving, would we have to save the answer or will it automatically submit? So if your question is, saving throughout, yes, your exam will be saved all throughout. I believe it's every 60 seconds. Your exam is saved. So if anything happens, your progress will be saved. So if you do run out of time, it will automatically start submitting. It will tell you that you're being removed from the exam. So you have to be mindful of the time. Again, when we're in person having our exam, the proctor will give a 15 and a 5-minute warning. On Exemplify remote exams, we're not going to really have a way to warn you of 5 minutes and 15 minutes. So there is, like I said, in the software, an alarm system that you will want to get used to. Again, so we will be available. We're always available on exam days, even late. A lot of times take homes are done through the night. We try to be available as much as possible, either by phone or email off hours. But we are usually always available. But like I said, if you can't get a hold of us and you're having a problem, try to contact ExamSoft. If you're having trouble, uploading an exam to ExamSoft, email us your exam immediately. And you can do it that way to make sure you're within the time frame. So emergencies and illnesses and special circumstances, no matter what, when you're in an exam period, you are not to contact the professor. That is for sure. You have other contacts. You have myself, you have Dean Lally, you have Dean Goldstein. But we don't want you to contact the professor, about your exam or to request a reschedule. That is done through the other avenues. So then is our contact info there, and you can use that. So this is important. If a student is unable to take an examination for good cause that arises within 24 hours immediately prior to the final exam time, student may contact the assistant, should be Dean Lally or Dean Goldstein there. That will be your point of contacts to help you make that decision or to find out about your potential reschedule. But you would want to get in touch with them immediately. So again, don't contact your professor. Documentation required for the request, and try to get exams rescheduled as early as possible. We will provide a deadline for those, but sometimes you have emergency ones that will come up. The honor code, you can find that on page 71 of the handbook, and you can read that on your own. So anytime you're taking an exam, you are submitting to that you'll be following the honor code. So it covers academic dishonesty, but also failure to report academic dishonesty. So if you're aware of some kind of dishonesty, you are required to report that. That is also under the honor code. All right, so we're going to move now into we're going to stop here for a moment. And are there any other questions at this time before I continue? And again, I'll work with the people that did not get into this. I apologize. They can't hear me, but I apologize to them. I have an upgraded account, so I'm not sure what went awry there. But I will continue on if there's no other questions. But again, it will be offered. This recording will be offered by email, and I will make sure I send it out to the first year listserv this weekend. I will also probably be doing another, I will do another session on Monday night for those students who were not able to get into this. But again, the recording will be available. All right, so we'll move on. So the exam ID is used to make sure the actual student. Blair, I'll get back to that in 1 second. That's another great question. Exam ID is used to make sure the actual student is taking the exam. So like I said, the mock exam will be used to get that baseline photo. And then you'll have to do, you should do another mock exam to be sure that that photo that you took in the first one is good, to make sure that you are recognized and allowed in to that second mock exam. Before exam day, making sure that your camera and mic are functioning properly. You can test it by taking a forward-facing picture. So how it works is when entering the actual exam, the current image on exam day will be checked against that baseline that was created during the mock exam. And I will provide a procedure on the actual taking of the picture that will also be included and sent to you either probably early next week. That's the one procedure that I don't have the screenshots available for yet. But so you will receive that on. So what are the protocols for bathroom breaks during remote proctoring? So Blair, it's actually, and probably others with the same kind of question. Strangely, this was a topic of discussion, and we fully understand that you're going to need to use the restroom at times during an exam. So, we're not going to stop you from doing that. It will probably, create a flag on the exam, but we'll look into it, and we'll see that you left for 2 minutes. We may have more information on that, but again, we're not going to stop you from using the bathroom. We wouldn't stop you from using the bathroom if you were doing an in-person exam. So same thing for remote. Oops, sorry, my chat just got wonky for a second. So the remote monitoring allows faculty to hold closed book exams while students are remote. The webcam will record footage during the exam, sound and video. At the end of the exam, both answers and a video file will upload. The video will be evaluated by a computer process. It's not looked at, by a live proctor as you're taking the exam. It's everything is done post-exam. So any flags that are raised by the AI process will then go to a live proctor at RWU, which will review that piece of footage. Again, they don't know anything about the student. They just look at the actual footage and make a comment on what their decision is on what happened, and then they may, if they feel like it's a flag, they'll then send it to the school. But so because of the fact the video file uploads at the end of the exam, you're going to want to keep your software open for a bit until you see that progress bar complete for the video file, because that will take a little longer than your answer file. So our question, let me just see. Is our screen being recorded? So the screen's not being recorded because again, so the question, I'm sorry, is our screen being recorded as well, or will it just be recording us? So it'll just be recording your face. It'll track eye movements, and if you leave, if there's noise, if there's audio, if other people in the room, it will not be recording your screen, because that's what we get in the answer file. So, so I hope that answers that question. So what could cause a red flag? So leaving the view of the camera, moving in an unusual or excessive way, looking away from the screen. So you would want to make sure that you have the printed exam in front of you. So you don't have it off to the left, or you don't have it off to the right, you don't have it up above. You'll have to have it down in front of you. So no wearing hats or headphones, no using any unauthorized materials. If it's closed book, no open books, so on and like that. Not having other people in the room. So making sure that you're in a quiet room, that's well lit will be important. And obviously not having any other audio in the background, radio, TV. So let me go. So any questions? Other questions on those couple screens? Okay. So let me see. Will allow for any type of audio, white noise machine. Caitlin, sorry if you didn't mean that if you meant that to be private, I read it. I will have to look into that. I don't know the answer to that. So she asked about white noise machine. So I will have to look into that. I'm not aware of that. Great questions, especially about the mask question inside the building. We'll have to review that and get back to you. So again, I will send this PowerPoint out. I will send some procedures out. I will send the recording of this out. And I will hold another one on Monday. So with the procedure, you could start to download the software. And so actually I do have some time here to show that. So just give me a moment, and I will pull up the procedure. Okay. So this will be the procedure to download Exemplify software onto your account. So you'll see and notice that your login and password will be your email address without the domain, and your 7-digit ID number will be your password. So you would want to log in under the exam taker, and then you will be here at this screen where you can install and register to Exemplify, and number 2. And then let me see, I got a question. We're going to get an email with our exam soft info. Yes, you do. Well, no, I mean, we don't know. We don't usually send out your actual login and password. But if you want to send us an email, we can help you out with that to make sure. But no, we don't normally send everybody their login and password, because it is just your, like I said, your email address without the @RWU part, @g.rwu part, and then your 7-digit ID number. But we can definitely help out with that. So again, using that to download. So here you can set up in number 3 how you might want notifications. The default is email. You can just leave it that way. That'll let you know when we've uploaded some exams to your account. You can also make sure, again, here you're checking the minimum system requirements. We can send those out, but again, usually it's really everybody is okay, except if it's really kind of old Windows. Well, we'll make sure we get those requirements out to you. So again, downloading Exemplify and completing the installation process will result in this Exemplify icon being on your desktop, and that you'll know then that you've successfully downloaded. But then you would want to make sure that you launch Exemplify, and you'll be registering your software with our school using the RWU institutional ID. Looks like I got some chat. 1 second. Yeah, so I just downloaded needs. Yeah, so the institution ID is RWU. Caitlin, how strict is it with eye movement? For example, are we permitted to outline our answer on paper and refer back to it during the exam? So I don't have an actual kind of gauge on how the eye movement is. So what I would suggest is that your outline is in front of you, but I don't have an answer for how strict the eye movement is. Sorry, I just don't. But I would keep the outline in front of you. So you'll know. Oh, sorry, one more chat. No, this does not require scanning the room with the computer camera before taking the exam, Jeffrey. It does not. Some Proctor software companies do. This one does not. Okay, so I said you'll receive an email to confirm your registration. You will be prompted to download exam files, but don't do any of that yet. Don't download any exam files that you see just yet. But you should have access, I believe, to the mock exam at this time. But I could be incorrect on that. But you will eventually have mock exam downloads there. So just again, some things that you would want to kind of get used to is Exemplify provides a word count for essay questions. You can see that we're in the red box there. So again, just kind of getting familiar with, I wish I showed you on this procedure, but you can see the kind of clock icon there. And that would be for your alarms. But then you can see that information there. I'll come back to the chat. Thank you, Henry. The mock exam is available. What I don't know is if the exam ID picture is going to happen yet. That's what I don't know. So I would just say at this point to register your software, but don't take any mock exams just yet. And we'll be in touch when you should do the mock exam. Okay. Any further questions there? Let me see. Let me open. Oh, I do have it, so you can unmute yourself if you want. Does anybody want to ask some questions outside of the chat? Again, I thank you very much. I do appreciate you coming out. I know that they don't hear us, so again, I apologize for the max participant. I'll have to see what I did wrong there, but I will share this recording and everything to everybody. So on that note, if nobody has anything else, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming out this afternoon, and I do hope you have a great weekend. And almost halfway through. Thank you very much.